What's up, guys? My name's Shelby, aka Woolly Mama Crochet. I am the designer and owner, I guess, behind the account Woolly Mama Crochet. I am a blogger. I have a blog where I share free crochet patterns. I also have those patterns available on my Etsy as PDFs. So that's a little bit about me. And today we are doing a little fun Q&A session just so you guys can get to know me a little bit better now that I have 50,000 followers on Instagram. That's crazy. So thank you so much and let's get started. Before we begin, let's just take a moment to appreciate my first 6-day star blanket that I made. Pattern is by Betty McKnit. I use this all from secondhand yarn and I wanted to showcase it in the back of this video. Besides that, I have my chunky wool sweater. I'm obsessed with this sweater. I got this yarn from Hobby. It's called Tint and Tone and it's a bulky weight. It might even be super bulky. 100% merino wool, so it's so soft and cozy. But I will be writing a pattern for this and I'll need pattern testers. So if you're ever interested in doing a pattern test for me, I always host my pattern test on Instagram. So make sure you're following me over there and stay tuned for that. I have questions here. I ask you guys to send me some questions through Instagram and we're going to answer them. Okay, I think this would be a good first question. A couple people asked this. Why did you start crocheting and when did you start crocheting? So I started crocheting in 2022, so just a few years ago. I had my mom teach me how so I could make my sister's baby, my new niece, a baby blanket. So that's what I started with. I just found a free pattern off of Pinterest and I went from there. Let me just say that that blanket came out super wonky. I started like this and then I started going like this. It was just a mess. But it was my first project and I made it with love and I'm pretty sure that she still loves it. I've gotten a lot better since then, but I thought it was a good first project. After I made that blanket, then I made myself a top. I just used a basic free pattern or a free tutorial off of YouTube. I made it out of acrylic and I took it to Cabo with me and I sweated through it. So that was a lesson learned. My first couple projects were, a free pattern I found off Pinterest from someone who has a blog, and the other one was a YouTube tutorial. So that's kind of what inspired me to share all the patterns that I create for free, is because since I learned basically off of what other people were sharing online for free, I decided that I wanted to kind of pay it forward and share all of my patterns for free as well. Another question that I got a few times was, what's the coolest thing you've made? And then someone also asked, your best project yet, and a crochet challenge for us. So, my favorite project that I ever made was a patchwork Halloween granny square cardigan. I basically took like 2 months. I did one Halloween granny square every day, and it was so much fun. I really love that project because I got to learn a lot of new stitches and new techniques. Whenever I see that project, I just get so happy. Like, I don't think that I'll ever make another project that will give me as much dopamine as that one. It's just so fun. It's like very tacky, but that's the point. I just love it so much. Part of that question was, do I have a crochet challenge for you? And my challenge would be that you should do the same thing. You should definitely do like a patchwork cardigan just because it's so easy to just learn new techniques and new stitches because the commitment is only, like a granny square. So it's really like you could take 30 minutes and you can learn something new. Plus you have so many to make, so there's so many like varieties that you could choose from and new stitches. I actually have a blog post all about my Halloween granny square cardigan, and I list out all of the free patterns that I use for each granny square. Some of them are squares that I made myself and I list those out too. So if you want to be twins, you can check that post out, make all the Halloween granny squares and have your own cardigan too. Or if you just make just a basic, year-round cardigan, I would love for you to send me a picture, please. I love seeing you guys' creations. Did you ever give up on crochet and then come back to it? Yes. I think this is pretty common. I feel like a lot of people do. So after I did those projects that I started with, like the baby blanket and then the top, I kind of took like 8 months off. I didn't crochet. I can't really remember what I was doing, but I took about 8 months off. And then I was pregnant during that time, and I decided I wanted to make my own baby a baby blanket. So I did that one in only a few days. And then from there, I was doing like a project every day. So I kind of just got back into the addiction, I guess. And ever since then, I've been crocheting pretty often. We'll see how long it lasts. Maybe I will learn knitting. I kind of want to learn that, but I'm a little scared because I feel like since I love making wearables so much, like this sweater right here, that maybe if I learn knitting, then I'll just keep doing that and I won't crochet as much. So that makes me a little bit nervous, but it's definitely something that I want to learn. Another question: what's the best stitch to use for a hexagon cardigan besides double crochet? So I've actually never made a hexagon cardigan before, but I think the most common stitch to use is the granny stitch, which I guess is double crochet. But I just saw one recently on Facebook where they did like the blocked granny square stitch. So instead of like in the gaps, it's kind of on top of each other. I'll see if I could put a picture up, but it was super cute. So I know it's still technically double crochet, but they're in clusters in the granny stitch. But I think that one was super cute. Somebody asked, do you read? If yes, what's your favorite book? So I'm a little embarrassed about this because I don't really read. I haven't read for like so long. I don't know what it is. Like I love watching reality TV. I stick to that. I listen to music, but this question kind of inspired me because I do go for a walk every day with my headphones in and I listen to music. So maybe I could start listening to an audiobook. Does that count as reading? I don't know. You guys let me know. My sister's really into all these books that are like really popular right now. I don't know the name. Something about Court of Thorns, or something like that. She says they're really good and she wants me to read them. So if you think that I should read them, let me know and then maybe I will, or I'll listen to them if that counts. Let's do another question. Do you work or is crocheting your job? Well, I am a mom. I'm a stay at home mom. So that's what I do. Crocheting is not my job, it's my hobby. I'm kind of torn if I want to make it my job, just because I love it so much. I don't want to end up hating it or resenting it because it feels too much like a job. Although I will say I would not mind being paid to crochet. So if I could do that, then yes. I would take crocheting as my job if I could keep it as a hobby but just be getting paid for it, if that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. This one's a fun question. Favorite time of year? I love summer. Something about the sun, just being out and being warm. I love it so much. I live in Las Vegas and it gets really, really hot, like 120 degrees hot. And when it's that hot, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I want winter because then I could snuggle up like in these cute blankets, like my star blanket or this cozy sweater. So I don't know. I always want like what we don't have at the moment, but I love summer and I think I'm gonna stick with that. Also because my birthday's in the summer. I've always loved summer. Another question. Do you get fan mail? I don't. I am thinking maybe in the future. I've seen other people do like a community blanket where everyone sends in a granny square. I would definitely get a P.O. box for that. I don't have one now, and I don't feel comfortable really giving my address out. So at this time, I don't take fan mail. However, you can always DM me. I try and DM everybody back. And yeah, do that. I would love to hear from you. We are breezing through these questions. Okay, another question. How did you make the cute graphics on your post, like the Halloween sweater graphic? So I make all of my posts using Canva. Canva really is just like really good. It took me a second to learn it, but I use Canva and I also use Procreate on the iPad. I need to get better at that. there's like so much you can do on Procreate. I keep it very basic. I know how to color the line and fill it in, and that's basically it. So I use Procreate for my little doodles, and then Canva for all the graphics and the blog posts that you see on my grid. Those are my go-tos. Kind of along those same lines, I have another question. How did you make your website? So this was very intimidating for me. I started off with WordPress and Bluehost since that was always recommended as the best one. I'm sure you've probably heard that before. I have a sister who is really good at websites and programming, so she really helped me out a lot. But I can go kind of more in depth in a different video if you're really interested in that. There's just a lot to cover, but basically I use WordPress and Bluehost on my website. I'm new to crocheting. I am puzzled by what exactly tester call means. Thanks in advance. Thank you for your question. I totally get it. I started my Instagram account and I didn't really know anything about the crochet community or how it works or anything like that. So I totally get it and I am here to help. So, as a pattern designer myself and other designers, when we create a pattern, we need to make sure that it will work. And in order to do that, we do pattern test. To do the pattern test, we put out a tester call to see if anyone's interested in that. And what a pattern test is basically when we write the pattern, we edit it, we get it ready to go. We want to make sure that when someone else is reading the pattern, that they can actually follow it and get the desired outcome and make sure that it's everything's to their liking and it makes sense. So for me, I do a lot of garment patterns, and so I would like to see if my design is going to be size inclusive. So maybe I would try and get people from all sizes who are interested in testing that pattern, who want to make, the same thing that I make, just to see if they will try it out and see how it goes and let me know if there's any confusion or if it comes out the way that they want and it fits good. Only because I'm not able to make 8 or 9 of the same garment myself, only because it will take forever and then I can't try it on myself and see how it fits. It just won't work. So designers would put out the tester call just to see if anyone is interested in making that pattern. And then, yeah, I don't know if that made any sense. Oh, yeah, basically, a tester call is a designer is looking for someone to make that same thing that they made and to just let them know if it worked. If you ever tested for me before, I love you. Thank you. Okay, this one is actually a really great question. I am not able to figure out how much yarn is required for a project and always run out of yarn. Any tips? So I have done this. Really, you only need to do this once and then you probably never do it again. I was doing it was my first Tunisian crochet project, which takes a lot of yarn, and that's a whole nother story as how much yarn that Tunisian crochet takes. But I was doing a pattern test, so I had a deadline, and I ordered this beautiful yarn from Hobby, which, if you're familiar with that company, they're from Denmark. And so it takes maybe like a week to get them shipped here to the US. So I ordered my yarn and I start working, and then I quickly realized that I did not have anywhere near the amount of yarn that I needed, but it was so beautiful, and so I wanted the same yarn. So I ordered some more, basically the same amount of yarn that I had, I ordered more. So now I've just doubled it. Um, and I kept crocheting, and then I realized like I really just need one more ball, and I wasn't going to order one more ball all the way from Denmark because one, it would take forever, and two, I'm not going to pay shipping for literally one ball of yarn. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, so I had to use a different yarn, whole different brand or whatever, different color, and I made it work. Overall, it was still like extremely small. It didn't fit me. I had to give it to my niece. So I totally get it when you don't have enough yarn, what you think you need. But I do have tips. Now I have the opposite problem. I order way more yarn than I need for the project, and I end up with extra, and I put it in my stash, and my stash is overflowing. But I think it's better to always have extra yarn than to have not as much yarn, because you can always do something with the extra, like do granny squares or do like a patchwork beanie. Like I have a pattern that you can do that with your scraps. Just you can always do something with the yarn. So my tip would be just to get the yarn that you need for the project and then just put one more in your cart just in case, because you definitely don't want to get into the problem where your yarn that you're using gets discontinued or you can't get a color, it's sold out, or maybe the brand goes out of business, as we've seen. So I'd rather err on the side of having too much yarn than too little. There's also this really cool chart that one of the yarn brands has, and I'll put a picture here, and it really just tells you, like, if you're using, for example, a weight 4 yarn and you want to make an adult size sweater, how many yards or something that you would need. And so I like to look at that chart a lot. There's kind of a range. I always pick the max, which is probably why I have too much yarn after each project, but it's a really good tool. And then I guess my other secret tip is when you're using a pattern, usually they'll tell you how much yarn that you need and which yarn that they used. If you use the same exact yarn that they use, you're probably going to be okay. It's when we want to experiment, and we want a different color, and I get it because I do it all the time. You just have to be a little bit more careful because it might not just translate equally as if you were using the same yarn as them, if that makes sense. Okay, we are almost there. Will you ever make amigurumi patterns? I want to. I just So basically, I'll keep it real with you guys. I have so much secondhand yarn, and it's mostly weight 4, some weight 3 that I got from my mom when I started crocheting. She just gave me all her yarn. And so I'm really trying to work through that before I purchase more yarn. And as far as amigurumi, I really like the thick, chenille, velvet, stuff like that, but I know that takes up so much space just because it's thick. And so I don't want to go and start buying that yarn until I work through all the yarn that I have. And I really don't want to make amigurumi with the yarn that I have, if that makes sense. So at this point, I'm not going to make any yet, I don't think. Maybe I will, I don't know. But definitely in the future because I think they're so cute. I have made some from other people's patterns and they're really fun and they're quick and they're super cute. So maybe eventually. You just have to stay tuned. This next question is a few questions, but I'm just going to combine them into one. How did you get 50,000 followers in 1 year? Any tips for small crochet accounts like mine? And what are some tips you have for growing your account? Well, I have a few tips. I can go really into a lot of depth on this just because there's so much to cover. But I will share a few tips and then I'll kind of give you some background on what I did and how I gained some followers. So, my number one tip would be to engage with the community. I noticed that my account started growing once I started engaging, like following other crochet accounts, liking their posts, commenting, being joining pattern tests so I can get to know other designers and other pattern testers, and then also creating my own patterns and hosting my own pattern test. That helped my account. So I think one would be to engage with the community, make genuine connections. Another tip would be to post consistently. I think it's really important just to focus on one platform. I originally started posting on TikTok, and that's where I got, a lot of followers about crochet start. But then I decided for some reason that I wanted to start my Instagram account. I really just focused on Instagram. I would post on TikTok here and there, but on Instagram, I was trying to, post daily, at least on my stories. I think that really helped me just to get in the rhythm of posting and making content. It's really easy to just get stuck in crocheting and forget to make content. If you are able to just get in the mindset of just pausing, taking a progress picture or just making a quick little video, and then once you're done with your project, then you can combine them all together because people love to see that. I mean, one of my favorite videos to watch is just like seeing the progress of somebody's project from beginning to end. I think getting in the mindset of just pausing your row, taking a little quick picture or a quick little video just to make a little reel. I think Instagram really focuses on reels nowadays, which is another story. So with that, I would recommend, trying posting just anything. You really have nothing to lose. I was posting, funny videos. I was trying to be funny, I was doing like voiceovers, I was doing just pictures or just aesthetic videos, like really just try everything. See what you like and then also see what your audience likes and then you can keep doing that. how I gained most of my followers, and I'm going to be completely honest with you guys, is I made this one reel and I really made it last second. I was just thinking, how can I make my grid look pretty, or what can I post today, whatever. So I took like 10 seconds to film it and I posted it. And literally, when I go click on that reel, it tells me that I gained like 30,000 followers just from that one reel. I think it's almost to 1.8 million views, which is crazy. And I would have never expected it to get that many views. The point of that is you really just never know what's going to take off, and you just need to keep posting. Eventually, something will take off, and you're going to get better at creating content. You're going to see what you like to do, what your audience likes, and then one day it's going to just take off. I think that's completely true. And something just like is so silly that you would have never even thought would go viral is going to be the thing that goes viral. So just don't be shy and don't be scared to try new things. Definitely just go for it. I could just go on and on about, you know, different tips that I have, because really there's a lot that goes into it. And I think the best thing to do is just trial and error and just, keep trying new things. If you want more tips or just more in depth or anything like that, let me know in the comments and I'm more than happy to make another video if that's what you guys want to see. If you have any other questions, drop them in the comments and I'll try my best to go through and answer them there. If you want me to make another Q&A in the future, maybe we'll do it if I get to 100,000. That's crazy to even think about. Who knows if we'll get there, but let's just say, let's just manifest it. I'll do another Q&A if I get 200,000, or if you guys literally have like so many questions in the comments, maybe I'll do another one. So I think that's all for now. Thank you guys so much for 50,000 followers. If you're watching this around mid-March, within, like 1 or 2 days of me posting this, go to my Instagram because I have a giveaway going on. Since I have 50,000 followers, I have a huge thank you. I'm giving away so much beautiful yarn. I have some hand dyed yarn local to Las Vegas, which I'm really excited about. I really wanted to keep it for myself, but I wanted to give back to you guys since I'm just so thankful for all of you guys being here with me and asking me some questions today just so I can have another YouTube video. Like, really, thank you so much. And I hope that you enjoy my patterns. I have so many patterns that I'm working on that are coming out soon, including I'm going to make a pattern for this chunky sweater that I just love so much. And I have 2 patterns for other sweaters. I have a duster and a little lightweight long sleeve, kind of lacy, that's going to be coming out in the first week of April. And as always, all my patterns are going to be on my blog for free, and I'm also going to have them available as a PDF on Etsy. And I'm even going to try and make a YouTube tutorial. So if you prefer that way, then definitely make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and follow me on Instagram. I think that's all for now. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.